change the landscape of corporate America, reflect and represent the societies in which we live.
It's like using skills, like truthfully hiring based on skills.
Tell that story of what your superpower is and be able to communicate that to yourself, others around you, and more importantly, your employer.
Your specific niche is underestimated individual. How are you finding that? From South Bend to Evansville and everywhere in between, this is Get In, the show focused on the Hoosier State and the incredible stories happening here today. I'm Nate Spengel, founder of Get Indiana, and I will be your host for today's conversation. Quick pause in the action to let you know that we are taking over Brown County this weekend. We will be at Moontown Brewing Friday, July 25th at 7:30 p.m., where we are opening a $1,000 bar tab for anyone who shows up as a reward for Nashville winning the Small Town Showdown Bracket Challenge. Then on Saturday, July 26th, we will be at the Hard Truth Bourbon and Barbecue Fest presented by Dave White and our friends at Great White Smoke. They're going to have live music ripping from noon until 9 p.m. and 31 different pit masters smoking up some of the best barbecue that the Midwest has to offer. Not only do they have good food, but they have a ton of other fun stuff going on. Here's what you can expect: bourbon and barbecue tastings and pairings, bourbon blending and cocktail crafting classes, VIP bourbon and cigar lounge, bourbon and barbecue marketplace, interactive competitions and outdoor activities like bourbon barrel roll races, barbecue toss and cornhole tournament, $10 entry for a $300 prize, and axe throwing. You can get tickets at hardtruth.com/events. Come on down this weekend and hang out with us and try some incredible bourbon and barbecue. We'll see you there. Today I'm joined by Eric Stanley, the founder of M2N, a social impact company on a mission to make the workforce more equitable. Before launching M2N and its flagship platform, Empower, Eric helped scale Passageways revenue from $6 million to $16 million and played a key role in helping close one of the largest Series A rounds in Indiana history. Eric is reshaping how we hire in Indiana by opening doors for underestimated professionals and building a system that values skills over status. I'm really excited to dive into everything hiring today. Eric, welcome to the show.
Hey, it's a pleasure to be here. Appreciate you having me.
I always love having a fellow DePauw Tiger on board.
Hey.
It's fun when we can reminisce a little bit about Greencastle and all the fun things happening out there, man. So, class of 99?
Class of 99, man. Class of 99, absolutely.
Yeah, when you came out of DePauw, were you assuming that you were going to have a long career in tech? Is that the plan?
No, not at all. I didn't really know much about tech. I knew I was going to be in sales, and that was really about it, which was different, right, from my fraternity brothers. And their networks of the people that they came from, which had built-in CEOs.
What house were you in?
I was Beta.
Oh, there we go. Yeah. That is a very big house, like lots of guys.
Yep, big house. And it was, so I played football and basketball at DePauw, so it was one of the houses that had a mix of all of the above.
Yeah.
I think you were Delt was the football house, ATO was the basketball house. So
there you go.
I went Beta. It was actually
So you actually got to play with Brad Stevens, right?
Yeah.
What year did he graduate?
99.
And it's the same exact. So you played for 4 years with him?
No, I played for 1 year basketball.
There we go.
It was a lot. You remember, DePauw is a challenging school.
Yep. But being a two-sport college athlete's no joke.
Yeah.
So, a good year. It was a good year.
Yeah. Good year.
So come out and you're going to be in sales. Where do you end up landing? What is that like? Like that's the early career hustle in sales is just like, it's a grind for sure.
I picked one of the grindiest, if that's a way we want to go about it, opportunities with Northwestern Mutual.
That is a grind.
Yeah.
How long did you do that?
Man, about 2-3 years.
Dude.
Yeah.
That's that. You cut your teeth in sales.
I cut my teeth in sales, but it's interesting how it comes full circle. So some of the people that I met there are my mentors now. They're on my advisory team because I was calling on folks who had been successful, who had money, right, to invest in themselves, and God forbid if something would ever happen. But what's interesting about it, when I was hired, training team, I was the only, right? So if we rewind, I'm from Anderson, right? So I'm from Anderson. I went to Highland High School, which is a predominantly white high school, and then went to DePauw, which obviously is a predominantly white college. And then I get out. So it's more of the same.
Highland's no longer a school, is it?
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
Actually, they closed it down. They closed down third largest gym in the state.
That's the Wigwam?
The Wigwam, man. I was in dunk contests there, and it was like 10 to 12,000 people during sectionals, and more than.
And like, what happens? What's going on with the Wigwam? Not to totally derail the conversation.
No, it's fine.
What's going on with the Wigwam?
They closed it down, man.
So it's just it's empty. Did they tear it down?
Yeah, they tore it down because of the taxes and.
No way.
Yeah.
The third largest gym.
Third largest gym in the state.
No way.
It was great, man. I swear, you probably got a couple more inches to your vertical on that in that place when you were playing there.
Why is that?
I don't know.
Just the hype?
Just a little more bounce. Yeah, a little more hype.
But you grew up, I mean, Highland High School in Anderson, predominantly white, go to DePauw,
Yeah.
another predominantly white school.
Yeah.
And you were talking about, then you show up at Northwestern Mutual. And
Hiring class, so
What
it's
was
only
that?
one.
You said the only.
Yeah, the only or the other, right? That's kind of what sculpted this whole journey, being the only or the other. It was a hiring class of about 6 folks. It was a strong class. In fact, one of the top salesperson, Mark Wise Financial, who's now a client, he's been the top in sales in the nation. Came from that class. Some of the folks that I was talking to, I actually met my hiring manager for Johnson & Johnson. Sold him. And he said, hey, you know what? You should really, have you ever considered an opportunity in pharmaceutical sales? I was like, no, I haven't. This is where it gets interesting, right? Because you go from a hiring class of 6 with Northwestern Mutual to a hiring class of 55 with Johnson & Johnson. And still, I was the only, the other.
Really?
All across the country. Now, J&J's gotten a whole lot better with that.
What years were that? This is like mid 2000s?
Yeah. No, early.
Early 2000s.
Early 2000s. So
okay, so yeah, I was in like 99. You did like a couple years with Northwestern Mutual. Yeah, early 2000s.
Yeah.
And you're saying out of 55 people,
Yeah.
you're still the only or the other.
Still the only or the other.
Did you like that? Did you dislike that? Did you notice that in the time?
So I was used to it, right?
Yeah, I mean, if you go from a predominantly white school to a predominantly white school to a recruiting class, it's just you're used to that.
Yeah, it's par for the course. And, you sort of, there's a whole language opportunity that happens. But then there's also frustration. You talk about belonging and things of that nature. What's interesting about it is the type of role it was. So your pharmaceutical rep, there's a lot of windshield time, so you're by yourself after you get through, pretty rigorous, hey, you need to be in a position in which you can sell effectively to doctors who have dedicated their whole life to medicine, right? So I did well there. Everywhere I've been in sales, I've been like top 3%. Okay.
That's a good skill to have.
So, yeah. So if you fast forward to my last role before I started M2N, I was with a company called Passageways. We sold a product called Onboard, which was board solution software. So all your boards of all your big logo companies and organizations, they have boards that have oversight into the organizations they run. And I sold the technology that helped them, with their minutes and any confidential information, things like that, right? So what's interesting about that is I was there for just under 5 years, thousands of conversations, right? I sold organizations like Robinhood out west, CICP here locally, Newfields, WL Gore, U.S. Sugar, some HBO. Yeah, some of the big guys.
How do you get a meeting with HBO?
Man, that's just one of the things I was always good at networking, and we can get into that and what that looks like, and how some people don't even know what networking is right now. But that's all it is. It's relationships, right? Relationships and asking and being confident in what you're doing. But what's interesting about that is, over thousands of conversations in that time frame, I spoke to less than 5 people that look like me.
Stop.
Swear. Right. True story. Calling on C-suite folks, governance folks, people in the boardroom. That's where it really started to kind of register with me. Hey, what's going on? Then the pandemic happened. Everyone got very, very introspective.
Like, when did it become prevalent to you that you weren't in meetings with people that looked like you?
I think I always
You always
knew it, but
like you come home and it's like, like one day it's like, oh, put a tally mark. Like there was another, now we're there. Or
Yeah.
like, where did that come from?
Yeah, I think during the pandemic, it all kind of culminated.
Okay.
Right? Because you're by yourself. Like I said, everyone's introspective. Their, civil unrest was really high. Also, George Floyd happened.
Yeah.
George Floyd could have easily been me. So once that happened, things were high. You really start to evaluate what you're doing in your life, what you're selling, these things. And that's when I said, all right, I need to do something. I started to put all those things together. And it's like, all right, how can I help, right? If one of my gifts is selling and networking and relationships and all these things, what can I do to really help change the landscape of corporate America to really reflect and represent the societies in which we live? That's where M2N came in. So what I did was I went out and I interviewed about 60 companies or so. And I asked, okay, when we start talking about the business case of diverse teams and what that does to a business, how it helps a business. Why is it wherever I go, we don't see it? 58 of the folks would say we can't find diverse talent and we can't retain diverse talent. That's where M2N comes in. And so as you introduced the company at a high level, that's what M2N is. It's a social impact company that is focused on workforce equity, right? It's for profit. And we develop technology to really scale that work.
Okay. So take me through M2N and the platform Empower in action. Like, how does it work? Let's say if Get Indiana, when we're 1,000-person company, how would I leverage Empower to find and retain diverse talent?
What you would do is you would partner with M2N. At the back end, we have a portal for employers, right? And so the employer, we actually built an ATS. So that applicant tracking system is where you would go in, you partner with us, and we have AI that actually generates job descriptions for you.
There we go. Yes, AI.
Yeah, AI.
It's a tech company, of course.
Yeah. And it's all based on skills schema, right? So when I say skills schema, it's not keyword, right? A lot of things out there right now are keywords, which you can get you in trouble.
When you say schema, what does that mean?
It's how it's formulated, right? So when we talk about AI going through and really matching the skills of the applicant with the skills that we build in the job description, that matching that happens, you get a score. It's based on a schema of skills that's matched in each.
Okay.
So sort of a model.
Model
is a better synonymous term, right? So you put your job description in there, and then that surfaces in our app, Empower, our first offering. And then we have a membership base of folks that are, talented. We like to use the word underestimated individuals, right? Who are in application actually looking for opportunities. And so it's all based off skills.
And what are the types of roles that you're bringing into the platform?
When we started, we wanted to focus on tech. A couple reasons. Tech, we want to focus on family sustaining wages, right? So we want people to be able to come out and support themselves. You support yourselves. You feel like you're contributing to society, you're able to live, right? And tech affords that opportunity to do so. Also, technology is about 92% of the roles out there, right? So tech is...
Tech or tech-enabled, right?
And tech-enabled, man. If you're not tech-enabled, then you're probably dying as a business.
Find me a business that's not tech-enabled.
Well, yeah. And when
even the garbage man is tech-enabled these days.
Totally. Farming, everything. Right? If you're not, you're dying. So that's why we went with tech.
So but specifically in tech, you're importing like SDR roles, or you're importing like what kind of roles?
It just depends. I mean, it could be sales roles. It could be, so we're a TechPoint. You familiar with TechPoint? Yeah. We're a TechPoint partner. And TechPoint has, Mission 41K. And they've got over 1,600 companies that have...
Talk to us about Mission 41K.
Yep. So Mission 41K, TechPoint's initiative to hire 41,000 folks for roles in Indiana by 2030 using skills.
When talking through that, right? Because there is this like age-old, using skills. There's just a lot of maybe misconceptions around diversity, equity, and inclusion hires between... skills-based. You talked about using keywords and that can get you in trouble. Like, talk to me about what that means. Like using skills, like truthfully hiring based on skills.
So when you break down what the percentages are of folks who have the opportunity to go to college, 63% of everybody, me, you, doesn't matter what you look like, where you come from, don't have the opportunity to go to college.
63% do not?
63%. Then that number jumps up to 74% for African American. Then it jumps up to 80+% for our Latinx brothers and sisters, right? So you're already excluding a lot of folks out there. Just because they don't have the ability to go to college doesn't mean they don't have the skills to do the job. So I sit on the Franklin Digital Fluency Board. And
what is the Franklin Digital Fluency Board?
They are sprinkling in digital fluency, which is tech and tech-enabledness, into their curriculum, so that when folks get out, they're prepared because tech is essentially taking over. Some of the feedback we've received from CEOs is that 90% of the CEOs want folks who have the skills to do the job in the seats. The problem is when you look at talent and talent and hiring acquisition folks, they just don't have the resources or the bandwidth to do that. And so we make that simple, right, with Empower.
How are you finding these underestimated individuals because it's a two-sided marketplace, right?
Absolutely.
You got to go out and find jobs that need filled, and you got to find companies that are looking for maybe not Ivy Leaguers, or maybe it is Ivy Leaguers. It's just skills. They're looking for people to fill the roles that they need.
Yeah.
And then you have to go out and find your specific, because I mean, there are competitors, I would say, where there's like, early stage, like early career. There's what is it? Ascend does internship. Like there are a lot of these like two-sided marketplaces for specific niches.
Yeah.
So like your specific niches, underestimated individuals.
Yeah.
How are you finding that?
Like I mentioned, we've been in business for about 4 years this month.
Yeah. Congrats.
So yeah, thanks, man. This year was the first year that we actually put jobs in the platform. So for 3 years, we've been out in the community building trust, right? Been out in the community partnering with, folks like 16 Tech, people that have access to the communities in which we want to serve to build that trust, right? Talking about our message, why it's important, and how people can participate with our platform as a resource. We have partnerships with Ivy Tech as well.
Oh, yeah.
180,000 students that go to, it's the largest community college in the country. So just developing relationships with folks who have that community and developing that trust so that they can come to our app, give us the data, right, that we need so that we can track all these things and really make a difference. That's been the work that we've been doing for 3 years.
Okay. So working on this for the last 3 years of prep work, now 1 year of jobs in the platform.
Yeah.
Right. And this is interesting timing because it aligns a little bit with like the new high school diploma structure with the Brown administration. And I don't know, I'm not the expert there. Right. So, and I will not claim to be, but I do know that some people are really upset with it and other people like it because it puts people on the right track to either go get a college degree or to go to trade school or go, become employable, I suppose. What's your perspective and feedback on the new high school diploma?
It's incredible. So
Really? Okay.
absolutely. So I just got back from Zurich, Switzerland, right? Where apprenticeships. So we went over there. There were some tech folks that were sort of leaders in the community that Fairbanks and iLab sent over to Switzerland to study their apprenticeship model. And they've been doing this for 100 years, right?
At least, right?
Well,
like officially.
official.
You think about like Europe or England, it's like, oh yes, I'm the cobbler's apprentice back in the day,
But that's so true.
Like,
yeah,
I left my family to go build shoes for this guy for like a bowl of soup.
100%, 100%. So you've got 2/3 of those folks over there. They have the dual sort of system where they can go and learn and also learn with a job, right? The vocational piece. And when you talk about youth unemployment, they're under 2%.
I feel like youth shouldn't be employed, but like youth
Well,
unemployment.
so but that's what's interesting, right? They start at 10th grade.
98% have a job in 10th grade.
The program is different for different industry, and we were over there studying tech. The program is about 4 years. Right?
Wow.
It's 4 years. But what happens is they're getting real live experience with employers, right? And they're
That's the point of 10th grade.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah. Where our youth unemployment is over 9%. The other thing about it is when we were there, these apprentices were coming up and they were, speaking to us. They're like 16, 17 years old.
Oh, dude, high school kids in America are scared of adults.
It was unbelievable to see some of these. Their composure, the way that they held the audience, their confidence. I've seen panelists and folks here that didn't hold a candle to these folks, right? So,
wow.
It's real. It's
Okay,
real.
so, and this is the apprentice program.
This is the apprenticeship
I feel like I've heard a few times, maybe the Indie Chamber talked about this with me, about rolling this out and it's not just apprentice. Like I think that the traditional Indiana-based apprentice model is like the plumber's apprentice or the pipe fitter's apprentice, or like it's more blue collar stuff. Like they're talking about an apprenticeship program that could place high achieving high school kid with a banker.
Absolutely. And in fact, NCAP, right, which is the apprentice program that we're bringing from Switzerland to here to Indiana, they are starting with banking. tech, construction, manufacturing, sports. They're trying to bring that model here and implement it. It's a complete culture change. It's culturally a change because what you see over in Switzerland is this is their way of life. Apprenticeship is their way of life.
What happens if I pick the wrong apprenticeship as a sophomore? And I'm like, I want to be a banker. And then you get in there and you're like, I can't count money. I don't know. I just don't like this. I don't want to do it.
It's permeable, right? So what they can do is they can go back to school. They have credits from where, so say that they were in the banking industry, they're still getting credits for working there, right? So then they can go back to school. They've got a system in which where they're pretty good at figuring out what a student is interested in before, they pick that apprentice.
This is a little bit of what I am. It makes sense to me. I like parts of the new high school diploma structure, but also like you can't trust a freshman in high school to pick like what they're going to eat today, let alone like if they get themselves too far down a path. Because I think I saw the article was like Purdue is questionable about whether it will accept the non-college track degree into their university. So imagine picking something as a sophomore. And again, I'm not well enough researched, so I hope maybe you have an insight into this. But imagine picking the wrong track. You get to be like a junior, senior, and like you're in a really big pickle because the most prestigious universities won't accept your high school diploma to get in there. Is this a thing that people are worried about? I thought I saw an article about it.
Yeah, that's the thing, and that's where this legislation change is making sure that those credits are transferable, right? So that's a big piece of what we're trying to bring here, so that in those particular situations, you have a fallback, right? But when you front load up front, you really want to make sure that you're taking the proper steps, being intentional with these kids to, allow them to job shadow. What they like to call it sniffing over there.
That's what they call it.
They call it sniffing.
They're just sniffing.
They're just sniffing around, right?
All right.
Sniffing out the
Respect.
opportunity. Doing that front loading piece so that, they can see a day in a life. It's like job shadowing. What's interesting is when I was a farmer rep, you go out into the field for a couple days with different folks before they even bring you on. And that's actually the final sign off. Hey, because what it does is it allows you to see what the day in a life is in that opportunity. I mean, you're in the hospital. Some people don't like blood. Maybe you're not supposed to be a rep if you don't like blood or you don't like to be in hospitals. But it also gives you an opportunity to build relationships, ask questions, and not only that, but get separate eyeballs with different perspectives that you can engage in, and they can say, okay, yeah, let's put this person on our team. So they do that very intentional up front to try to make sure that doesn't happen. But we're dealing with kids, right? So the chances that it will happen, are there.
The people that you're helping, make connections to jobs, the demographic, when you say of the underestimated people.
It really could be anyone. I can't tell you what your lived experience is that makes you underestimated. You could be black, you could be white, you could be socioeconomically stressed, you could be disabled, you could be a veteran,
young,
young.
There's, it seems like everything that makes you unique or everything that gives you your experience can also be used again. Like you just don't have enough experience. You're like, how the hell am I supposed to get experience if no one gives me a chance?
Yeah, or you don't have enough experience, or you have too much experience, or what's this gap? Well, I had a baby, or I had to take care of somebody.
Life
in my family, life happens, right?
Come on.
During those situations, you are building skills. And so what we have to be better at and what we try to bring about in folks is telling that story. So you can tell that story of what your superpower is and be able to communicate that to yourself, others around you, and more importantly, employers. So that's what we do because we have content in the app as well, right? So what happens is you go through some of the content and it talks to you about, all right, what do you do in an interview? And it's not only about getting opportunities. I mean, there's a lot of folks that are professionals that are in careers right now that are unhappy. How do you navigate different situations that you're going to face? We want to have content in there to help folks with that. And that also helps with stickiness, right? So you have all these folks that graduate from school or get an opportunity and nobody knows what they're doing or where they are, but we will have that information and that data. So there's longitudinal data that we'll have that we can apply in different scenarios, circumstances. So I'll give you an example. We both graduated from DePauw.
Go Tigers.
Go Tigers. What happens is after folks graduate, you have alumni outreach Nobody knows what anybody's doing anymore 6 months out after they graduate. Because a lot of things happen. 7 jobs since I graduated DePauw. Some people have more than that. That's an average. The average is 13. Yeah.
13 in your lifetime?
Yeah. Before you finally say, hey, I know what I want to do in my life.
Wow. Wonder when that changed. Because it's like, then you go back like 20 years and it's like, nope, I've worked at the steel mill for 35 years. Like, or like someone's dad was a banker or someone's mom like was whatever, but for forever. When do you think, I know this is like another sidebar question, but like the shift of like bouncing around to find stuff that you like versus like the Eli Lilly, like they had people that were there for 30 plus years.
Yeah. I think that's what the Swiss has figured out, right? So that upfront piece, there's so much more retention in these places over in Switzerland, and they can afford to put the Swiss stamp on there that is a premium. Like your Swiss watches, your Swiss shoes, all of those things. And that's just because there's more experience going into where things are made, man. It's just crazy.
Do you think they let people sniff, tinker, whatever at a younger age when it's like when you're a kid, a month-long internship, like you can kind of tell if you want to do something or not, probably. Versus like when you graduate, you need to stay at a job for at least a year. If you don't stay for a year, you don't want that on your resume, right? So then it takes 5 years to try 5 different things versus it could take 1 year to try 5 different things if you were just sniffing.
Yeah. No.
Maybe. I don't know. That's my hypothesis.
Well, no, I think you're spot on, man. I mean, if you put a lot more emphasis in that front loading piece to get it right, it just makes more sense and people are more comfortable. And again, it's about developing relationships and problem solving in an environment that you're going to work in. So once folks that you work with see you problem solving in that environment, you get comfortable problem solving in that environment, you're going to get asked to stay on board.
Are you running into issues where sometimes like the number one first question is like, do you have a college degree? Like a lot of jobs just start with that.
Yeah.
Like my grandma, for instance, back in, this would be the 40s, she took 1 year of college classes and it helped her get a job because it's like, oh, you studied accounting. Like we were looking for a bookkeeper. She didn't have a degree. She had 1 year and took one accounting. And like, now I can't account. But like that somewhere in the mix, like you had to have a degree. Even if you have she technically had the skills and that got her hired, but this was in 1946 or whatever.
Yeah.
But a lot of times like the first thing on a job application is, do you have a 4-year college degree?
What skills first this whole movement, right, is showing that you don't need the 4-year degree. So schema, our models that we talk about, we're trying to pull that out when we make these job descriptions for folks. Now, it's all editable. If they want to put that in, they can. And it's different circumstances for different roles. But you got to remember, way back in the day, you said the 40s, right? It's supply and demand. Folks would just use resumes and school diplomas as a way to funnel down the folks because there was just so many people to go through for jobs. Doesn't necessarily mean that the folks that didn't have diplomas aren't capable, but it just gave them an easier way to sort of find people and have a story behind that. Our whole focus is, look, skills first as a product, more indicative of success 5 times more than education, 2.5 more times indicative of success than prior work experience. You get a better onboard experience into the company because you know what their strengths and weaknesses are, right? It increases in retention by 32%, which that's a huge thing. Most companies spend anywhere between $5,000 and almost $40,000 onboarding somebody, right? It's important to keep those dollars. And then the other thing it does that we sprinkle in at the end is that you get more diverse teams. You're broadening or widening the aperture of talent that you're letting into the pipeline.
That is an interesting piece, and I'd love to pull on that thread. I think in general, my hypothesis, again, I'm using that word a lot today.
I love it.
I'm here for it, is that no one is like, I don't want diverse teams. The majority of them just have a difficulty finding more diverse. Like when you're making, let's say, a startup, right? You came from, Passage. I don't know, how big was the company when you joined?
25 people.
25, right? I'm sure that 23 of those came from like personal circles.
Yeah.
They just happen to be, I need to hire this, and like speed and skills, and you ask a friend of a friend, and then you end up with a 25-person team where you are the other, the only, right? Mm-hmm. Like, and that's not from I would assume, I don't know, you can correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think the person, whoever, I don't know the founder of Passageways off the top of my head, but like, I don't know if they went out and said, Perun?
Shoutout.
Do you think Perun went out and was like, no, I only want that? It's just like you start asking friends and you end up, but
it's your network.
Your network. They have trouble finding more diverse talent by doing the traditional things. Go to career fairs, right? Like they send out their HR team and it's like, well, the same career fair, like that's just going to continue to produce the same talent. But like they don't have capital or bandwidth or, ability to go and, I don't know, find more diverse talent. Is that an issue you're seeing?
Yeah, well, I mean, that is the issue, right? Folks are in the business of doing their business. You bring in talent acquisition folks who are of a likeliness to who you are, and, predominantly they're not going to be folks that look like me, right? And so what Empower does is gives you the opportunity to reach outside of the networks of your likeliness, because that's how hiring is done. Everybody's got bias. We try to take the bias out, right? So, you could be biased towards Walgreens versus CVS, whatever it is, you have some. And so what Empower does is puts you outside, taps you into a whole different segment of folks that are outside your network.
We want to let you know about an event that's happening at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, August 2nd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. called Rule the Road. This isn't your typical driver's ed class. They're giving teen drivers real hands-on driving experience, stuff that actually matters once they're out there on their own. And they're doing it big. IndyCar drivers like Tony Kanaan, Connor Daly, Joseph Newgarden are all going to be there signing autographs. It's a great mix of safety, learning, and fun for the whole family. If you're anywhere near Indy and have a teen behind the wheel, this is something you should check out. Hit up ruletheroadindiana.com for all the details and give Alliance Highway Safety a follow on Facebook and Instagram to stay in the loop. We'll see you at Rule the Road Indy at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Now let's get back into the episode. Okay, has the national movement of like the elimination of DEI, how's that affected you and your business?
No, it hasn't. I mean, because we're skills-based. Skills is a new currency. But when I told you about all the things that skills brings, that diverse teams piece at the end, that's real. Because remember the 65%, the 75% Black, right, and Latinx? We are capturing that invisible talent, right?
The invisible talent.
So we're capturing that, and we're giving them an opportunity to be in the, let's say, top of funnel, right? Because that's what the tool is. It's top of funnel.
Because I think what the argument on one side is that like by making a mandatory amount of like 10% has to be this, 5% has to be this percent, it's like, well, it could be more than that based on skills. Mm-hmm. Like you could end up staffing 100% of your company with people that don't look like you if you chose to use skills as a currency.
Right. Because the diploma thing really narrows that scope. When you use skills, 63% of everybody, right? So it just really widens that gap and gives more folks an opportunity.
What are like the skills?
Soft skills.
Like how are you measuring those?
Well, they're self-identified now. But remember, this is just the MVP.
Yeah.
And so they're self-identified now. We've got some AI things up our sleeves that we'll be releasing, right? It's tech, so it's always evolving, but self-identified right now, but it's a soft skill. So if you've got 6 engineers that are, interviewing for a job, who's the one that gets the role? The one that has the soft skills or power skills, as some people call them, to adapt into the team, right? It's all about communication.
Yeah, that's interesting too. Like in the world of tech, it's like, well, sometimes the best developers like didn't go to school because like, why would I go? I can already do this. It's always funny because some people are like, well, Mark Zuckerberg didn't need college, and it's like, yeah, well, Mark Zuckerberg also dropped out of Harvard.
Yeah,
like he didn't drop out of like whatever. So I like him somewhere in the middle because college was like a huge benefit for me. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say today. Some of it is a little bit of like the public speaking or the writing that I learned at DePauw. Yeah. But it's not like I learned like video. I did a little bit of work with D3 TV, but they did not teach me how to build a business. Mm-hmm. But they did teach me the soft skills and gave me a network and like all these other like intangible soft things. Mm-hmm. But then on the other side, it's like you could just go out and hustle and learn all that. It's funny. I'm not sure that I'm like totally on board of like, no, college is bad.
No.
But I'm also not on the fact of like, you have to go to college.
Yeah, and we're not saying college is bad. You have the opportunity to go to college, go. I'm just saying that so many people don't have that opportunity. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the people that don't have that opportunity, it doesn't negate their ability to be the person that has the skills in your seat. So I'm trying to include more of them.
And I like this. So, and I think in terms of like not hypotheticals, but also, like scenarios. So let's say two people grew up, one of them in the, you said 70, what percent of African-American or Latinx people don't have the opportunity to go to college?
70 plus for African-American, 80 plus for Latinx. Yeah.
But it's like, okay, so you take
Most.
me who can like talk, like blah, 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 like, and I could end up as a CSM for a tech company, and the same person could end up as like a customer service, like at the tire center.
Yeah.
Down the street, just because the opportunity of not being able to go to college.
Exactly.
But it's like we have the same
skill set.
We're both just people.
And yours is probably a little more defined, right? Having gone to an institution that's sort of heightened your ability to write and communicate. But the foundation for those folks who are at the tire store in the service, I mean, they have the foundation too.
I would be interested. Like this kind of the liberal arts thing. It's like you don't come out of college. The majority of people that come out of liberal arts, like the whole point is that you know a little bit about a lot of things.
That's right.
Cross-disciplinary or whatever it's called, versus being like a specialist in one exact thing. Like I graduated in accounting from IU. It's like, okay, cool. That person knows the heck out of accounting. Probably didn't study all the other stuff. So, and I always say like, I learned everything about what I needed to do on the job anyway.
Yeah.
Like I learned how to learn, but then I just like learned about all like the practical skills when I got to the job.
Liberal arts institutions need to, get better at telling their story of why they're so important. I was an anthropology major.
The study of people?
Study people. I'm a tech founder CEO now. It's very interesting how many people that come from DePauw go on to be successful CEOs. It's crazy.
It punches way above its weight class.
It's crazy. And I just think about the people that, that I was there with. Like you got Stevens, who's, general manager of the Celtics. You got Joe Shane, who's the general manager of the Giants. I mean, these are people that,
dude, it was brutal when the meme with Saquon. Did you see all the stuff going around?
Oh, I know.
He's like, his kid was, oof.
Yeah.
You hate to see that one.
You do.
But it's like he's still in there. He's like, they're doing big things.
Totally.
Like,
totally.
Hey, sometimes it'd be like that.
You got me off track. I was just saying that you learn a lot about a lot of different things. It helps you be successful in business, right? We do that at an institution, but there are other folks who don't have the opportunity to go to an institution, but still learn. It's just more about how do they communicate what they've learned, right, in a manner that is transferable.
The entry fee is so binary, where it's 4-year degree or no. Like even to get the opportunity to sit in there and pitch yourself, and that's like a lot what I did with DePauw. It's like, well, I'm not technically like, I'm not a sales major. I'm not a whatever major. I'm not a marketing major. I'm a communication major.
Yeah.
I can do a lot of different things.
Supposed to know how to talk to people,
yeah,
right?
It's like whatever you need, I am. But the binary piece was, are you graduating from a 4-year university? Like that's a 1 or a 0. Right? It's a yes or a no.
Yeah.
Tech guy, right?
Yeah.
And then even if someone could get in there and say, I can learn, I can do all this stuff, like, hustled and blah, 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 blah. It's like, oh, well, you don't have a 4-year degree. Like you're not even getting in the door. That's interesting.
No.
Do you have like examples or stories of lives that have been impacted through this skills approach?
I would say my life is a big one, right? So it's about lessons that you learn and being able to understand that those are lessons and what those lessons are building in you.
Yeah. Like has Empower like placed an individual?
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually, we had our first placement 2 weeks ago.
Heck yeah. Okay, so tell me about this first placement.
Now, this one's interesting because I kind of knew this person. I worked with him in the past, but he joined the platform. We have a company B, who's paying for our service. They put in a couple roles in there, selected him. So one of the things about our platform is we don't use resumes. We use what's called anonymous profiles. So it's all based off skills, right? So we're really walking the walk and talking the talk. So that means that the companies that we put in a platform are in it for the same, right? So that's why we partner with a lot of the tech point companies, because they have signed an initiative for the skills first, and we're helping be that throughput to help them do that. We sign them up. They put their jobs in there, built by our AI, and it took about 6 weeks for them to hire the individual, but they did. And person A was an Empower candidate, and his first day was actually Wednesday last week.
Heck yeah.
Yeah, man.
All right.
So it works.
So MVP works.
It works. It works, brother.
I think the hard part about, because it was like a matching software, does candidate A go and find candidate B? Or sorry, company B, or does it like match them together?
It matches them together. So it pulls up like you have a percentage match for the opportunity or the role of that your skills
I
work
think
with.
this is the hardest part about job matching software at scale, like really big scale, is that like company B and company C and company D get so big they're on the platform, and I'm like searching for a job, but I'm currently employed at company B, and I don't want company B to see, or like I won't want to like accidentally get matched to my company that I'm already at. You know what I'm saying?
Well, so
So like I was at Powder Keg before this, and we had a matching software.
I saw that.
Yeah. And so I like know this pain because I would always be like looking at the matches like, oh, okay, like this person's like starting to look at a tech job, but like I don't want them to like get matched to their host company, their current company, because that would be really awkward if our software matched like someone and kind of exposed that they were looking on the job market. So this was like this fear in the back of my head that I was always thinking about.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't happen, because if it does happen, you see the name of the company.
Oh, okay.
You just don't apply to that company.
Oh, so they have to like opt into that.
Yeah.
So like that was our thing, was like it just like gave them recommendations and like it matched them.
But it didn't tell you the company?
We would give talent that was on the market. We would send them out to our customers, and they would get to select if they wanted to get introductions to them. And so it was just like the person opted into any matches that we wanted to make them, and the company would then choose anonymously who they wanted to meet. And I was always just worried about like, oh, I don't want to like expose this person. And it was an interesting piece.
Yeah,
you clearly thought about this.
Oh, yeah. So what happens is in our platform, you have the name of the company, and it's your profile. So your skills that have been put in. When you see that match, say it's a 90% match, you go in, you click on it, you see the role, and you can click apply.
Okay.
Right.
It's like you get it's like, yeah, you have a 99% match to this job, and you like look at the company like, that's my current job.
Yeah,
like,
then you don't apply to that.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. Like, there we go. I love it, dude. So, I mean, this is super interesting.
Yeah.
I think that you talk about like working 3 years in advance, getting your MVP out, getting candidates, but like it's starting to work.
Oh, yeah.
Like 5 years from now, take me to the future. What's going to be the mark where you know like this thing crushed it? Like this, what's reality going to be like if we know that skills-based hiring is working?
It's interesting, as you know, as a business owner, it's a little different business, but in tech, what you want to do is some people say, fail fast. We can't do that. We have to be careful because we're dealing with people and we're dealing with trust, right? So we want to be really intentional about how we build what we build. And we want to make sure that our product roadmap is a reflection of what's needed that's been voiced by both our members and our companies, right? So right now, what we're doing is we're taking on companies, early adopter companies. So let me rewind. What we did initially is we got members in the platform. We asked them to create their profile and consume some of the content, tell us what they liked, what they didn't like, what they want to see more of, right? So now when we release the jobs, we've got about 170 jobs in the platform. Now we want early adopter companies to tell us what they like, what they don't like, what they want more of. So we're doing the two-sided marketplace before we scale and really unleash, this thing, because the last thing we want to do is get, 10,000 people in and have 9,000 people cycle out. You don't want to do that. You want to cycle them in when you're ready, right? That's the teeter-totter. When the application is ready, right? Have enough opportunities in there surfacing so that you keep folks engaged.
It's so hard.
5 years from now, if we've got 100,000 people on the platform and we're placing people every day, we at least have the data to show what's happening, who's getting placed, how many applications, all the data that we can fall back on to say, is this moving the needle? Right. And then we can have those conversations with companies that have signed up with us that, for whatever reason, if they're not hiring, right, we can say, oh, well, we can track this down to hiring manager B. We see that he's getting this company or he's getting these members and they're not moving on for whatever reason. That's data. You use it how you want to, right? And the other piece that I would say that's important to note for the employer is that it is permissions based, right? So you have an administrator that can see more than, a contributor, and that's by design, especially in this market. What we want to do ultimately is move the needle, get more at bats for underestimated individuals.
A piece that we looked into was like these silent filters. A big piece of your recruitment process is an after work networking event. Mm-hmm. And it's like a silent filter could be like, I'm a single mom and I have to pick up my kids. A recovering alcoholic, like I can't go to happy hours. Or, like there's all these different silent filters.
Barriers.
Is there advice you have for hiring managers that want to do a better job? Maybe they don't have funds. They're not current customers yet, right? But like, what can you do as someone who's hiring? Like I'm a startup. I'm hiring my first employee, starts in June, employee 2. What are some things that I could do to bring this skills-based perspective to my company?
Join Empower. I mean, really.
Yeah.
The second hire of a company is way different than the 60th hire of a company. So right now we're focused more on entry level. I think it's just like anything, in sales, you want to have different buckets. As a company, you also want to have different buckets. Right now, we're not the or, we're the and. So you got LinkedIn, you got Indeed, you got Empower. Then you see what works for you, right?
Yeah.
I think the biggest piece is just getting a start, getting comfortable.
Well, I'm saying but let's say that becoming a customer right now isn't like a fit. Like it's probably not where we're at yet on like the hiring scale. But are there things that I could do to like take a similar approach or to be thinking through the lens as someone who's making hires? Or is anyone out there? Let's say there's a hiring manager that like maybe doesn't have like budget to do a new software yet, but like wants to get the same outcome, get the same result that you guys are helping create.
In that situation, that scenario, you just need to put yourself in different positions where there's folks that are outside of your network.
Yeah. Like, I think that's a big piece of just thinking through, like, it can be so, it's like, oh, it's just a happy hour. I'm 28 and I'm like not married and I have no kids. Like, it's just a happy hour. Like, what do you mean? It's like not everyone that could be just as qualified to do this job can make that happen. Yeah. And so I think, and sometimes a lot of it is things that like you don't even think of. It's not like I'm thinking here like, oh yes, I want to exclude single mothers. It's no, but I'm like, oh, I don't even think of it. It's just a happy hour, whatever. Yeah. And so it's like slowing down, thinking through that. I think like talking to other, getting different perspectives. Yeah. It's like, hey, this is what I'm thinking about for our hiring process or whatever.
Slowing down, being intentional, being introspective. That's where you start, right?
Yeah,
that's where you start. And if you have the insight, the forethought to do that, that's a step in the right direction.
Amen.
Yeah.
We come to a segment within the show. This is our Younger Years segment.
Okay.
It's brought to you by our friends at Orr Fellowship. They're a great organization here in Indiana, helping develop young business leaders across the state. Eric, what advice would you give to your 22-year-old self?
When I was a freshman in college, I made the travel team for football, right?
Congrats. Well, big honor.
Yeah, no, it's a big deal, right?
As someone who did not make the travel squad, it is a big deal.
So I missed the bus the first time.
Oh, shit. Dude.
So it gets worse. So the first time I missed the bus and it was bad, right? And then the second time, you have to dress up. Well, I wore sandals. I had sandals on with a suit jacket and it was, it was just.
Who was the coach at the time?
Nick.
Coach Morosis.
Coach Nick, man.
What a guy.
So, awesome. But
what did he say to you? He's using sandals.
He said a lot. Right? It's just like, oh, baby, what are you doing? Just shaking his head and disappointment. But I still got out and I did what I needed to do that day. I mean, those are skills. Those resilience, right? That's
time management,
learning the hard way. All of these things. So if I were to go back when I'm 22 years, take those moments of failure, right? Because that's where the lessons are. Take those moments of failure and really be introspective to the point where you could say, oh, this happened to me. What did I learn from that? And what are the skills that I possess because of that? That's what I would do.
Sometimes learning lessons the hard way is the best way.
Yeah.
That's Coach Nick. What a guy. We've kind of come to the end of the show where I have the same 3 questions that I ask every guest.
Okay.
All about the state of Indiana. One, it's been awesome learning about your story, the story of how skills-based hiring, one, improve people's business. Like getting diverse perspectives is always good. And like getting the right people that can do the right work, no matter what their background looks like. I think that's very, very meaningful. I'm excited to see as we like fast forward time 5 years from now, the 41K goal of Tech Point and how you're going to contribute to that. I think it's super amazing. If people want to learn more about M2N and Empower, like how can they find you? What do they need to do?
Yeah, no, our website's www.m2n.us. You can follow us on LinkedIn. We encourage, if there are folks, the call to action here really is if there are organizations out there that are like-minded and, really want to see talent in their pipeline that makes up diverse teams, get in contact with us. And if you're someone that's looking for talent, download the app. You can download the app on iOS or Google Play.
Someone's looking for a job?
Someone that's looking for a job. Somebody's looking for a job. Somebody that has a job. Somebody that needs to navigate, different circumstances, in the workplace, uncomfortable situations, things of that nature. Download the app. It's Empower. That's Empower, Mpower, right, is our application. So
heck yeah.
Yeah.
All right. You ready to talk about some Indiana stuff?
Let's do it.
All right. What's something the world needs to know about Indiana?
We need to do a better job of telling the story about sports. We've got our pro teams, right? Pacers are killing it right now. The Colts, they're rebuilding. I'm a Peyton Manning fan, so so we've got football, but we've got basketball, we've got the Indians, but we're also a great place to come for national events. Like we get the NFL Combine. Right,
yeah.
We get the NFL Combine.
Like
we get the championship, Sweet 16. Is it Sweet 16?
Oh, we have Final Four next year for NCAA.
This is what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
We had the NBA All Star.
And we also get like the random and we have women's NBA All Star,
women's WNBA.
Yeah, we have. But then we also get like high school cheerleading world championships. Or like the youth. I don't know, track and field. Like what we get a ton of events.
That's what I'm saying. What's the other one? The Olympic swimming.
Yeah.
Like it's serious. And I think, Indianapolis is, downtown is walkable. It's great. So I think that's a big piece.
I love it.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's where you get to reveal something that more people need to know about. What is a hidden gem in Indiana?
Well, yeah. So that's, I would say since you're a Tiger, and I don't know if you've talked about this, Marvin's.
Oh, that's great.
Marvin's out of DePauw, the GCB dipped in ranch. Cheese fries. This was a thing that was
Mac Bites.
I don't think we had Mac Bites when I was there.
Wow, dude.
After 6 o'clock, we'd have our dinner, but about 9 o'clock, you start getting the munchies. Man, everybody's ordering. And the Stromboli was a sneak, right, as well.
And like what I love about it is you walk in there and there's pictures of all the places. Like everyone makes sheet signs or signs that Marvin's delivers to the pyramids. We had one from our senior year spring break. Marvin's delivers to Daytona Beach.
Yeah.
And I printed it off to get in there and it's still hung up in the restaurant, which just really makes me happy.
Absolutely.
That's a great hidden gem that we have I don't believe we've had yet. It's spectacular. That makes me happy. Finally, this is where you get to share the love. We get to learn about maybe future new guests or just other people in the state of Indiana that are crushing it. Who's a Hoosier we need to keep on our radar? Someone who's doing big things.
I'm going to go with Tracy Jackson.
Who is Tracy Jackson?
Tracy Jackson is, she is a gem, right? She's over at 16 Tech, and she's really just finding innovative ways to, expand career pathways for the youth. See it, believe it, achieve it. I was a part of that. I was on the panels, just kind of talking to middle school and high schoolers.
Tracy Jackson, VP of Workforce Development and Community Impact.
Yes, sir. She's great. She's doing great things quietly. She was with Ivy Tech before that, and now she's with 16 Tech, and she's big in the justice involved piece, which is going to be a big thing. I think 10,000 people are being released from prison this year. This is annually.
Wait, what?
10,000 this year. and this is on a yearly basis, just as in Indiana. And then nationally it's like 420,000. So these people that have been in prison, they're getting released. They got to go back and be functioning members of society, and we want that recidivism rate to be low. So that's a big piece. And she's going to be working closely with me on apprenticeships, and she's on multiple boards like St. Joe's College, and which is a 2-year program for Marion University. So shout out to Tracy Jackson.
They revived.
Yeah.
They revived St. Joe's up in Rensselaer, right?
No. St. Joe's here, man.
Oh, St. Joe's here. Oh, well, because I think that there's also
it's a spin-up.
Marion
Michigan
has their one up in St. Joseph or in Rensselaer because the Pumas of St. You know what I'm talking about or no?
Yeah, but it's not.
That went bankrupt, I think, or they closed at college, and I think Marion has a satellite campus up there as well.
Possibly.
So I think that this is part of that.
Okay, maybe.
Don't quote me, but we'll do some research, put it in the show notes.
Okay. Yeah.
Man, okay, so Tracy Jackson.
Yeah.
We got to keep her on our radar.
You get an opportunity to have her on the show. You should do that. She's the real deal.
Amazing. Eric, thank you so much for coming on and sharing your story, all the cool stuff. Reminder, you can find you on LinkedIn. You can download the app in the App Store.
Yep.
Website.
Empower.
What was the website again?
www.m2n.us.
There we go. Appreciate you. Always fun to have another Tiger on talking about all the amazing things that you're up to. Yeah. Good luck with developing the schemas. I love that word. That's gonna be making it in my usual vocabulary now. And I'm excited to follow along. I think just given the momentum right now around filling roles with the right people, not necessarily like who you know, but like, hey, we have skills that want to fill these roles. I think that there's a lot of momentum there, and especially the new high school diploma structure, our emphasis on internships and apprenticeships, things seem to be cooking. Seems to be heating up.
Very timely, and don't forget about what's going on in northern Indiana with Amazon and IBM, and I mean $14 billion coming to the state for jobs. So we're part of that as well.
Amen. I love it, man. Hey, we'll have to check back in maybe a year or two and see if we're on track to where we want to be in 5 years. So
let's do it.
Appreciate you coming on.
Thanks.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Get In. If you like what you heard, make sure you leave us a review wherever you listen to podcasts. This show is made possible by our friends up at Sweetwater. Whether you're looking to start a podcast or take your content to the next level, click the link in the description to see all my gear recommendations at sweetwater.com. If you want a behind-the-scenes look at everything we're doing across the state, make sure you follow me on Instagram and TikTok at Nate Spangle. Thank you so much for listening and being part of what makes the Hoosier State great. We'll see you next time here on Get In.